Hey guys, welcome to the All Sports Pass Podcast North. I'm your host, X and welcome back to another video. Where today I'm going to be covering the 2024 Mississippi State Bulldogs football schedule and make predictions on it. And before we get in this video, we already know you got to start off with the verse of the day. And today's verse actually comes from Proverbs 21:31, and it was requested by Aggie Far From Home 9642 on the Texas A&M SEC schedule prediction. I'm sorry, the Texas A&M video. I'm sorry. Let me rewind, and let me read that verse to you. It says, Proverbs 21:31 says, "The horse is made ready for the day of battle, but victory rests with the Lord." Amen to that. Great verse. Great verse, Aggie Far From Home 9642. And also, guys, if you want to have your Bible, if you all want me to say a Bible verse on the show, just leave it down in the comments. I'll be happy to do that for y'all. And also, guys, if you noticed, I have not been uploading for the past couple weeks. It's because, unfortunately, I've had some stuff going on, and it pretty much, just sucks. But hey, I'm back now. I'm back. And also, guys, keep in mind, these are my predictions. These are what I think is going to happen over the course of the season. And yeah, without further ado, like, subscribe for more college football content. And without further ado, let's begin. So for Mississippi State, they're coming into this season following a 5-7 overall record, and they went 1-7 in the SEC. And it's interesting to see what they can do this season. However, they did lose a few players. They lost running back Woody Marks to USC. He went to the transfer. He was in the transfer portal. Transferred to USC, and they lost Will Rogers, transferred to Washington, and they also lost Xavier Thomas, who transferred to LSU. And let's see what and let's take a look at their stats real quick. And on the team leaders, they had quarterback Will Rogers lead the team in passing yards with 1,626. Rushing yards, Woody Marks had 573. Receiving yards, hold on here real quick. Sorry, guys. Tulu Griffin led the team with 658 receiving yards. Tackles, sorry, guys, still loading a bit. Nathaniel Watson led the team with 137 tackles. And interceptions was Sean Preston Jr., who had 3. I'm so sorry, guys. He had 3. I'm so sorry, guys. Hey, it's been a bit. I'm just going to say this, that please be patient with me, because this is the first time in a while I've been able to record. So just be patient with me, okay? But however, for Mississippi State, they do have quarterback Blake Shapen in here, and it's here I see what he can do. And they also, on their notable departures, they have running back Jeffrey Pittman, running back returnees, I'm so sorry. Running back Jeffrey Pittman, running back Seth Davis, safety Corey Ellington, defensive end DeMonte Russell, and defensive line Dante Russell. And also, guys, if you noticed on the other videos, if I said players that have transferred out on the returnees, I am so sorry. This magazine that I'm using was, I assume, made before the transfer portal. So I am so sorry. But however, they also, before Mississippi State, they also get Cameron Ball tied in, and it is going to be interesting to see what can happen here. So let's take a look at here. No, this is Football Time from Tennessee Magazine right here. It in Tennessee. Sorry, Football Time in Tennessee Magazine. And it said the Bulldogs had a bad year in 2023, winning only 5 games with 1 SEC victory. As a result, they have a new head coach, Jeff Lebby, hired to get the program going in the right direction. He will be relying on 2 transfers, quarterback Blake Shapen, and tight end Cameron Ball to lead the Bulldog offense. It's not going to be easy it's not going to be an easy turn around for the new coach because the roster is without much needed depth and experience. Hopefully, the other transfers will add the experience and depth as needed to win. So that's on the outlook for their team. But let's take a look here real quick. And keep in mind, if this word is if you notice in the other videos, I've also went to the back of the magazine to see if there's any other thing that's needed to note, and it's pretty much just the same word here, same words here. But however, I do think, Football Time has Mississippi State finishing 13 out of 16 SEC teams, and to be honest, I'm going to say this, that it's going to be interesting to see it's going to be interesting to see what can happen. But hey, enough of me, Apple. Let's get into it. Oh, and one more thing. Keep in mind that it's college football. Anything can happen. There may be some games Mississippi State wins that I say they lose, and there may be some games, that I say lose that they end up winning. You just never know. But enough of me yapping. Let's get into these predictions. So, without further ado, let's begin. And week 1, they're going to be playing Eastern Kentucky. And for Eastern Kentucky, they're an FCS school, and here's what I have to say. FCS teams normally do not really beat Power 4 teams. But however, I will say this, like you've heard me say it on the channel before, that a notable FCS upset actually happened in 2007, App State at number 5 Michigan, where App State went to Michigan and defeated them 34-32, and because of that loss, Michigan dropped from number 5 to not ranked at all. And yeah, so really, it's really nice to see what can happen. Like, personally, SCS upsets, they're something that they're rare, but depending on, who they play, they can be impressive. So it's really nice to see what can happen. But for this team, for Eastern Kentucky, they went 5-6 and went 4-2 in the United Athletic Conference. And of course, they also, so it's a decent record in my opinion. But however, I do think that it's going to be, I think it's going to be Mississippi State taking the win here. I just think that Mississippi State will, with the home field advantage, as well as the fact, like I said, FCS teams don't normally beat FBS teams. It's probably going to be a Mississippi State win, so I'm going to give this one to Mississippi State. All right, and then the next one, they're going to be playing Arizona State, and Arizona State's also going to be this will be their first year in the Big 12, as they were in the Pac-12 last season. They didn't really have a good year last season. They went 3-9 overall, went 2-7 in the Pac-12. And let me take a look at their schedule real quick. Week 1, they played Southern Utah, and they're an FCS team where they barely won 24-21. And then the next week they played Oklahoma State, where they lost, and they lost to Fresno State. Then they lost to USC. Then they lost California 24-21. Then they lost Colorado 27-24. Lost to Washington 15-7. And well, back then, of course, when I'm saying this, USC, when they beat them 42-28, USC was ranked number 5. And when Washington, that loss was only 15-7 back when Washington is number 5. But they did beat Washington State by a score of 27-38. I'm sorry, 38-27. Sorry. And this is a Pac-12 victory for them. And they lost to Utah by a score of 55-3. Then they beat UCLA by a score of 17-7. And then they lost to Oregon, number 6 Oregon, by a score of 49-13. And then next week they played Arizona, which is a big rivalry game. It's the duel in the desert, and they lost 59-23. So really, it's going to be interesting to see. But however, I'm going to say this, that now, of course, Mississippi State will be traveling away for this game, but I think Arizona State, I just think is they're gonna have to figure out what went wrong last season and try to get everything they can to be a winning team. Because hey, I'm gonna say this, that the Pac-12 and the Big 12 are a much different league from each other, like much different competition. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this team adjusts. But here's what I think. I think I'm gonna give this one to Mississippi State. I think that's the team. I think I'm gonna give this one to Mississippi State. I think they should pull it off. Then the next game, they're playing Toledo, and here's what I'm gonna say. Toledo is in the Mid-American Conference, and normally these teams do not really Mid-American Conference is, some of these teams don't normally beat Power 4 teams, so this is likely going to be a win for Mississippi State. But let's take a look at Toledo real quick. They were the MAC West Division champion, and they lost the MAC championship to Miami, Ohio, by a score of 23-14, excuse me. And then the Arizona Bowl, they lost 16-15 to Wyoming. But however, they had a pretty good season. They finished 11-3 and went 8-0 in the MAC. And of course, it's going to be interesting to see what this team can do this season. But I'm going to say this, that I think Mississippi State's going to have the upper advantage here. So I'm going to give this one to Mississippi State here, because I just think, like I said, Mississippi State, the advantage should be there for them. So I'm going to do that. Then the next game, they're going to be playing Florida. And let me tell you this here. Let's take a look at Florida real quick. So Florida went 5-7 last season. They went 3-5 in the SEC, and they do have some starters returning. They also have Graham Mertz, quarterback, and he's also listed on the key returnees. They have left tackle Austin Barber back, center Jake Slaughter, right tackle Damian George Jr., quarterback Graham Mertz, running back Montrell Johnson Jr., tight end Hayden Hanson, wide receiver Eugene Wilson III, defensive end Caleb Banks, nose tackle Cam Jackson, defensive tackle Tyreek Sapp, linebacker Shamar James, CB, which is cornerback, not quarterback, cornerback. Just in case it sounded like I said quarterback. Here, hold on, guys, real quick. Let me just move up a little bit here real quick. There y'all go. They also have, excuse me, where was I? Sorry guys, I lost my train of thought real quick. They also have, I found it, sorry. Cornerback Jason Marshall Jr. back. They have free safety Jordan Castle, punter Jeremy Crenshaw, kicker Trace Mack, and long snapper Rocco Underwood. And here's their preview. Billy Napier's Gators had a rough year in 2023 with a 5-7 overall record and 3-5 conference record. These are shaky numbers for Coach Napier, and it is an absolute must for the Gators to have a better year in 2024. They have lost so many good players that have transferred to other teams, which has hurt them each year. Also, to make matters worse, they have very difficult schedules. They play Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, LSU, Tennessee, and Texas A&M. This will be another long, hard year for Billy Napier's Gators. And let me tell you something. For Florida, it's going to be interesting to see what they can do. As like this says, they struggled last season, and of course, Football Time has Florida finishing 12th out of 16 teams. But they're also another difficult team to predict. And it's like Football Time said, they lose a lot of players in the transfer portal and everything. And also, guys, sorry, I just want to put this out here before I continue. For me moving up in front of the camera a little bit, sorry about that. But however, for this, I think that really It's be interesting to see what Florida can do at this point. But however, I think that and also guys, if y'all also watch other videos and I say a team's going to win there and then they lose the next video, keep in mind predictions scheduled to change. But however, I think that Florida, honestly, this could be a win for Mississippi State. I think it could be a win, honestly. But however, I think it could be a close game, it could not. It's just going to be interesting to see. But however, I don't know. I'm going to be honest, I don't even know who to pick here. But you know what? I think I'm going to go Florida, actually. I think I'm going to pick Florida simply because I think Florida can honestly, can do it. But however, it's going to be see what kind of team Florida brings at this point. So I'm going to go Florida here. Then next game, they play SEC newcomer Texas at Texas. And for Texas, they are predicted to finish second out of 16 SEC teams according to Football Time. And in Texas, let me rewind. The Longhorns enter the rough SEC competition with an excellent head coach, Steve Sarkisian. Sorry, I can't pronounce that real quick. Also, I just want to give a notable comment here. On the Arkansas video that I made a couple months ago, someone said, "Man, you need a pronunciation guide or something. You pronounced half the team wrong." That comment made me laugh. So I'll give a shout out to whoever said that. But however, Steve Sarkisian. All right. I'm gonna give up. In a talented squad featuring their outstanding quarterback Quinn Ewers, if the portal players are as good as predicted, Texas could start their first SEC season at the top, and they have definite playoff potential. And here's the thing: Texas finished third in the nation last season. Of course, losing to runner-up in the national championship, Washington, by a score of 37-31, of course, in the Sugar Bowl. But, however, it was a pretty good season. So, yeah, but I think Texas is going to be a powerhouse this season. So, I say this, that I think Texas is going to be the one to win this one. So I'm going to give this one to Texas here. The next game, and of course, there's a bye week. So, the next game for Mississippi State, they're going to be playing Georgia. And Georgia, of course, is ranked number one, of course, out of 16 SEC schools because it's Georgia. And for Georgia, they do have Carson Beck back. And here's their preview. The Bulldogs are coming off a great 13-1 2023 season, have been predicted to be the favorite to win a national championship in 2024. They have a tough road schedule facing them in Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas. If they can win those games on the road, then they will probably win it all, and that includes the national championship. They have all the necessary tools available to have a great team. They have Heisman Trophy candidate Carson Beck back to lead the offense, and a strong defense returning, led by All-SEC All-American safety Malachi Starks. And let's take a look at some of their key returners, like quarterback Carson Beck, like I said, wide receiver Dominic Lovett, offensive line Ernest Green III, offensive line Tate Ratledge, defensive line Michael Williams, linebacker Smile Mondin, and defensive back Malachi Starks. Now, I think Georgia, of course, in my opinion, they're going to be a powerhouse this season. And with Mississippi State, I was thinking, now, of course, say Mississippi State could pull the upset. That'd be great, in my opinion. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to give this one to the Dogs here. I'm going to give this one to the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia's going to be the better Bulldog, unfortunately, this year and take the win over Mississippi State. Then the next game, Texas A&M. And for Texas A&M, Football Time has them predicted to finish 9th out of 16 SEC teams. The Aggies are another SEC team with another head coach, Mike Elko, and he was hired to get the Aggies back in the title contention. It may not happen this year, but he has his injured quarterback, Connor Wigman returning, plus his outstanding wide receiver Moose Muhammad. Since Elko excels as a defensive coach, the Aggie defense should be strong. And I will say this, that the Aggies have, if they have a great defense, I think at this point in the season, it's very hard to see how these teams are this season. But, however, I think, of course, the Aggies should have the strong defense like the magazine says. But I'm going to give this one to Texas A&M, simply because, of course, for Mississippi State, I just do not see Mississippi State being able to really beat the Aggies here. So I'm going to give this one to Mississippi State. The next game, they're playing Arkansas, and here's what I'm going to say. For Arkansas, football time has them finishing 15th out of 16 SEC teams. And for this one here, hold on, let me get this. They won 4 games last year, and only one SEC game, finished dead last in the SEC West. I'm sorry. And Sam Pittman's job was in jeopardy last year. Sam Pittman's their head coach, was in jeopardy last year, remains in jeopardy this year. He may not finish the 2024 season unless the Razorbacks turn it around and start winning. He'll have to rely on Boise State transfer quarterback Talon Green to lead the offense. Green is more apt as a runner than as a passer. Former head coach Bobby Petrino returns as the offensive coordinator, which could help, and the defense that needs to be improved will be led by All-SEC defensive end Landon Jackson. And here's some of their key returnees. Offensive line, Joshua Braun. Offensive line, Patrick Kudus. Wide receiver, Andrew Armstrong. Wide receiver, Isaac Tisla. Tight end, Luke Has. Defensive end, Landon Jackson. Defensive tackle, Cam Ball. Defensive tackle, Eric Gregory. Defensive back, Jalen Braxton. Defensive back, Lorando Johnson. Defensive back, Jaden Johnson. And punter match, Fletcher. And hold on, let me take a look real quick. Isaiah Satagna. And hold on, guys, real quick. Return specialist, sorry. For whatever reason, return specialist keeps on. I'm just going to say this, that for sometimes in football, sometimes I have things slip my mind. And for whatever reason, return specialist always slips my mind. But hey, then again, I've had a rough couple of weeks. So please forgive me, y'all. And please be patient with me as, of course, I'm still learning. But hey, so far, I think I'm doing pretty good. But yeah, and also, and one more time, shout out to the guy who said I pronounced half the team wrong, because I think I pronounced half the team wrong again. Yeah. But anyway, I will say this, that it's going to be interesting to see what Arkansas, I really think that for Arkansas, it's going to be interesting to see if they get better at this point in the season. But if not, this should be a win for Mississippi State. But I think Arkansas is going to be a bit tough to tell for a little bit, because you just don't know if they're going to get better or not. But I'm going to say this. I think I'm going to give this one to Mississippi State, because I think Mississippi State may have the upper hand here. So I'll do that. I think I'm going to give this one to Mississippi State. And of course, for Mississippi State, I'm sorry, not Mississippi State, but let's wind it back. The next game for Mississippi State is against UMass. And let me take a look at UMass here. Hold on, guys. I accidentally closed the schedule. I accidentally closed their page real quick here. Hold on, let me find it. But for UMass, they are, of course, an FBS independent team. They're not in a conference. But, however, and of course, this will actually be their last season competing as an independent, as they will join the Mid-American Conference as a full member beginning in 2025 for UMass. And last season, they finished 3-9, and it's going to be interesting to see what can happen. But I'm just going to say this, that, I just don't think it's going to be a win for UMass. I think Mississippi State's going to be the one taking this. So I'm going to give this one to Mississippi State here. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, then the next game, Mississippi State is playing at Tennessee. And let me tell you this, Tennessee, in my opinion, has had a pretty good season last season. They finished 9-4, and of course they won the Citrus Bowl. And it's interesting to see what can happen this season for the Vols. Of course, they have Nico Iamaleava. Man, I'm pronouncing everything wrong today, am I? Nico Iamaleava back. I'm sorry. I think I pronounced it right there. Excuse me. They have him back. They got James Pierce Jr. back. They got Brew McCoy back. Squirrel White. They have Dylan Sampson. You got some guys here that I think can really do great this season for the Vols. And I say this, I think the Vols, in my opinion, are going to be a tough team to beat this season. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give this game to the Vols because I think the Vols, honestly, they're going to be a tough team to beat this season. And, of course, with Mississippi State traveling to Neyland, it's going to be a tough environment for Mississippi State. So I'm going to give this one to the Vols. The next game, they're playing Missouri. And for Missouri, they had a great season last season. And for football time, they have them finishing. Football time has them finishing 6 out of 16 SEC teams, and the Tigers surprised most everyone last season, winning 11 games and going to the Cotton Bowl and defeating Ohio State. The outstanding quarterback, Brady Cook, is back, and he makes all things happen. Also back is their potential All-SEC wide receiver, Luther Burden III. The defense, although strong last year, lost several key players and is questionable. So it's very questionable for if Missouri can keep up the momentum that they had from last season to this season. But here's the thing. I think regardless, I think for this game, this should be a win for Missouri. I just see it happening. So I think I'm going to give this one to Missouri here. And the next game, it's the Egg Bowl, and I have to say for Ole Miss, they're going to be Mississippi State's going to be traveling to Ole Miss. And head coach Lane Kiffin is a proven difference maker. This year, he has his proven quarterback, Jackson Dart, back to lead the offense and has several portal additions to boost the defense. Ole Miss can play with anyone, and Kiffin will see to that. So, and really, with Ole Miss, they went 11-2 last season. And hold on, guys, I've been messing up a lot today with some of these real quick. But however, they also, last season in the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss only won this game by a score of 17-7. But however, and of course, those 2 losses in the SEC came from Alabama and Georgia. And let me tell you this, Ole Miss, honestly, they're going to have some good players coming back. They also, on the defense, you have a notable guy in Walter Nolan from Texas A&M. He did great. Walter Nolan should boost the defense. And I really think that, and of course right here, like I said, several portal additions to boost the defense. I think it's going to be interesting to see what this defense and this offense can do. So I'm going to do this here. I think this one's going to be a pretty good win for Ole Miss, and I think that's what's going to happen. I think Ole Miss is going to win the Egg Bowl. And all right, that's all I got for y'all today. If y'all like this video, leave a like, subscribe for more college football content. And also, guys, keep in mind, these are my predictions. These are what I think is going to happen over the season. And if you want to say your predictions, leave them down in the comments down below. I'll try my best to respond to each and every one of you. And also, if y'all want a Bible verse on the video, leave that in the comments down below as well. And also, guys, just a little notable thing. I'm still learning, and I understand today might not have been my best video, but hey, I'll tell you what, you get those sometimes, but hey, you just got to move on. And with that being said, peace out, God bless, and have a good day, everybody.